This video will provide you information on how to use and manage mentor logs for the coming school year. Electronic mentor logs are provided for mentors to track their meeting time with new teachers over the course of the year, and we're going to be using Google Forms. This will eliminate the need to save forms until the end of the year for submission. Some of the guiding expectations include that mentors need to meet regularly with their new teachers to provide meaningful support and also to help them understand that meeting times and needs of teachers fluctuate over the course of a year. Just a reminder that 30 hours or more are required to be eligible for the mentor stipend. Mentors should be submitting items to the log every time they meet with their new teacher. Lead mentors should regularly monitor the log submission to ensure mentors are providing appropriate support to our newest staff. The monthly logs provided will be the method used by lead mentors to track meeting time for verification of that time. Each time a mentor and new teacher meet as a pair during the month, the mentor should at the end of the meeting complete the log with the mentee. It is the responsibility of the mentor to submit the log, but the mentor-mentee pair should collaborate on the submission. So let's take a brief tour on how the mentor log works. Each lead mentor will be given access to a folder with their initials, and it will also be titled Mentor Log for 2017-18. This will be the folder you will use for the forms and the response sheet. So let's open up the folder and take a look. Inside that folder, you will find a form for each month that will be used for mentors to submit those logs and information from the meetings they have with mentees. It will also include a Google Sheet that has all of the responses from August through May 18th. I've set this up so that every form, when it is completed, will submit to one log response sheet. So in other words, you will have a tab for August, one for September, October, all the way up through May. You won't have to manage multiple response sheets. They'll all be in one response sheet. So let's take a look at one of the forms. I'm going to start with August and open it up. Each form will include the mentor name, last and first, mentee name, last and first, and it will ask to include the topics that are discussed and then how long they met during that session. Now, keep in mind that mentors can meet multiple times during a month. So, for example, you may have 5 submissions in one of the months. The way you will send the form to your mentors will be to go to the Send button. When you click on that, it opens up a window. You will enter in the email addresses of the folks who are mentors in your building, and you can put multiple names. I'm just going to send it to me. And you can add a message. The subject will be the month of that mentor log. So this is August mentor log, and then you can add a message. And all I'm going to put here is please complete submissions during August. Or if you have another message you want to add. I would recommend you not click and make it include form and email. I would leave that unchecked, and then you can send that. It's going to send the mentor an email with the link to the form. So let's look at what they're going to fill out. We'll take one for example. So for a mentor name, let's say it's Jane Doe. So Doe, Jane. Maybe the mentee name is Smith Sally. In terms of topics, I can do it in bullets, or I can include them in numbers. I'm going to use numbers. Let's say they talked about classroom procedures. And lesson plans. You can be more specific if you need to, but I'm going to just start with topics like that. Next, I'm going to add how long did I meet during that session. So we talked about this for 30 minutes. Now you're going to notice in this form there is nowhere where it has the date, and that's because it'll automatically timestamp when this is submitted. That's why it's going to be very important for the mentor to make sure they submit this during their meeting so that it is accurate in terms of the date. Once you've finished filling that out, the mentor just hits submit. And then that will populate the spreadsheet. Again, the mentor then can resubmit another one. They can use the link, or even if they want to go ahead, if they have other information, they can submit another response at that time. The next video will show you what it looks like when the mentor gets an email and what it's going to look like in the response sheet. So I'd mentioned earlier, we've shared a folder with you that has the forms and also a response sheet. So what I want to show you before we get into looking at the response sheet is what does the mentor see when you send the email? Well, here's the example. They're going to receive an email that has the word Google Forms at the top. Depending on the month, it'll list the month and also the description that is on top of the form. And then it'll ask them to click to fill out the form. So they will click there and that'll take them directly to the form. Now they're going to want to save this link somewhere. They can either bookmark it or save it to the desktop or just refer back to the email each time, because as you remember, they're going to be submitting maybe multiple times in 1 month. So once they've submitted something, let's go look at the response sheet so I can show you what it's going to look like. In the response sheet, you're going to find all of the submissions, and you can see I've already put some in here. The first column will have the timestamp. Second column has an email address. It'll have the mentor name, last and first name, the mentee name, last and first name, and then the topics that are discussed. So those items are going to show up and continue to populate within this month. Now you're going to notice there's also a tab at the bottom for each month. So as you get to each month, you will send the link to the September log in September, October in October, and so on until May. Going back to August, an option that you can do to help disaggregate or look at your data is there are filters in place. So if I were to go to the mentor name and click here, it's going to allow me to choose one of the names and filter it. So I'm going to choose that one. And then I'm going to hit OK. So as you see, it is filtered that column by that mentor. The way you know that that column is filtered is you see a different shape, like a funnel shape. So it's been filtered. You need to remember that because sometimes later when you open up this response sheet, you're going to wonder what happened to some of your data. But if you just go back up here and hit select all and OK, it will open them all up. So it'll let you filter by that. It can filter by the mentee name, same way. But that's how you will do that. And I'm going to hit OK, and that opens them all up. So then when you get to September, you should have data in here when September rolls around, and you'll be able to gather and collect all this data through each month. If you have any questions regarding the use or management of the mentor logs, you can contact me at the email address listed.